This is Locked On Bets, the daily betting show that means business from the Locked On Podcast Network. Hosted by Lee Sterling and Kevin Rogers, they're dropping fearless picks with an inside edge to put money in your pocket. If there's action, they've got the lock. This is where smart bets start. It's Locked On Bets.
Welcome to the Wednesday edition of Locked On Bets, and we thank you for making Locked On Bets your first listen of the day here on the Locked On Podcast Network. Kevin Rogers and Lee Sterling of Paramount Sports as we take you through the top bets of the day here on Wednesday, July 9th. And Lee, we got our bets to review from last night. We're going to look at the Las Vegas Raiders win total. All of that is straight ahead, but let's get to our first pick of the day.
To find a diamond in the rough, you need to dig a little deeper for those hidden gems.
All right, our hidden gem for tonight, Lee, the WNBA, one of my favorite leagues out there, has 3 games during the day, so we're obviously going to give you one of those. But the night game, Dallas is at Chicago, and the Sky off a loss to the Mystics yesterday. Quick turnaround back at home tonight. And we're going to go with the first quarter under 41.5 points between these two teams. Now, the first 2 meetings this year, they saw 48 points and 45 in the first quarter. But I think we're going to go backwards this time around. Dallas, who we faded on Monday against Phoenix, they got blown out in that game by the Mercury. They allowed 28 points in the first quarter. In the last 3 games, after allowing 24 or more in the first quarter, Dallas has given up the next game in the first 16, 10, and 9. So the defense bounces back big. Chicago's not a great offensive team. And also, Chicago and Washington went over in the first quarter yesterday, 11 of those points coming from the free throw line. So won't expect that again. Dallas past Paige Beckers has a couple of their leading scorers out. And Chicago is not great offensively. I don't think we're going to see a third over in the first quarter between these teams. So I'm going to go with the under in the first quarter between the Sky and the Wings, Lee.
You win this game, they're going to start calling you a WNBA specialist. That's going to be your moniker. So I hope you keep it up. I don't know these teams like you do. I don't do the WNBA, but that's what makes you so good. And let's hit our 4th WNBA game in a row. Let's nail it. And I love these first quarters because then I don't have to watch the rest of the game.
You know, if you look back at the box scores, and I know that you do, they break them down in the WNBA. You can look at them by quarter and see how long the time is. These are like 18 to 20-minute bets, Lee. Yeah. Like, you get through this in 20 minutes, you're out and go have dinner. Like, you don't have to, sit around and watch this whole game. That's what makes it so great.
Yeah, I like it. Yeah, they don't go on and on like some of these NBA games, especially in the fourth quarter. I mean, the timeout after timeout after TV timeout. When I go to some of these games or watch them on TV, I mean, it's painful. That's why they say, used to be the old saying, just need to watch the last 2 minutes of an NBA game to know what's going on. WNBA, hey, first quarters, you seem to have nailed them so far. So let's keep riding it.
Now let's go back to last night, and these things happen sometimes. 1-2 night last night, a little bump in the road for us, but you hit the Cal Raleigh. He hit a homer in that game for the Mariners, so he went over his prop, which was a good one. The Mariners didn't look good in that one. They got blown out by the Yankees, but Cal Raleigh, though, the big dumper, you rode him and picked up another win.
Yeah, the ball carried. When he hit it, I mean, it wasn't even close. So that's important. Weather is, you get to these summer months, you get to some ballparks where the ball carries well. Seems like in the summertime when teams go to New York playing against the Mets or the Yankees. So that factored into it, and we had the best player maybe in Major League Baseball, certainly the most powerful hitter. So these guys, Cal Raleigh's not hitting too many singles, a lot of doubles. No triples, doesn't have a whole lot of speed, but doubles and home runs, if he gets a hit, it's usually one of those two, and he came through for us.
Yeah, and he continues to lead Major League Baseball in home runs. Now, unfortunately, on the losses side, for me, I had the Washington Nationals in the first 5 innings at St. Louis. They led 2-0 after a long rain delay in the third, but then St. Louis tied it, eventually took the lead and led after 5. So that was a bit of a rough one. I did like the new manager angle, Washington getting out of town angle, but unfortunately, though, you can't hold a 2-0 lead, and nothing you can do about it.
They out-hit their opponent. They were right there, just couldn't come up with a big hit, left too many, people on base, and that's why they're a bad team. But, it was right there, and their bullpen's been bad. It wasn't horrendous in this game, but they have a 5.76 ERA. They are the worst bullpen in Major League Baseball.
And unfortunately, the Tampa Bay Rays, they were up 2-0 at Detroit, ended up losing that game to the Tigers, and the Tigers continue to roll. But again, you almost sometimes want to get blown out. And you say, okay, I was on the wrong side. But then when you take that early lead, you think, okay, we can get this. But Tampa Bay just couldn't finish it off.
Just one of those days. So 1-2 isn't horrendous. 0-3 takes a lot to overcome. You got to go 3-0 just to get back to even. But seeing as we went 2-1, start the week, we're 3-3. We're even, Steven. Let's put up a winning day, and this way we can put some profits in people's pockets, and maybe they can pay off that extend stay weekend that they had over July 4th weekend, which a lot of people took.
And coming up, we do have plenty more plays. We're going to have a lot of baseball plays, too. And Max Muncy, not the Max Muncy you think, but the other Max Muncy B. We're going to look at his player prop. Also, Juan Soto looks to keep the Mets going. They had that comeback win over the Orioles last night. And our NFL season win total today takes us to Vegas. The silver and black. Pete Carroll and Geno Smith reunited. And we'll see if they can get things going for the Raiders. All of that is coming up. You're listening to Locked On Bets. Want to tell you now about Monarch Money. Ever wish managing your money felt easier? With Monarch Money, it can. Whether you're growing your savings or planning a big purchase, Monarch puts you in the driver's seat. It's like having your own personal CFO, giving you full visibility and control over your finances. Monarch Money is more than just a budgeting app. It's a complete financial command center. You can track all your accounts, investments, and spending in one place. So in addition to managing your money, you're also building wealth. Stick to your budget with these tools. Monarch Money has a flex budget system allowing you to save for big goals. Also, you can modify your groups and categories that suit you at Monarch Money. Also, you can flex budget when expenses change from month to month, or fixed budgeting on expected expenses. Take control of your finances with Monarch Money. Use code LOCKEDONNFL at monarchmoney.com for 50% off your first year. That's monarchmoney.com, code LOCKEDONNFL for half off of your first year. We continue here on Locked On Bets. We already had our first play of the day in the WNBA. Let's go to the diamond now, and let's find a hidden gem.
To find a diamond in the rough, you need to dig a little deeper for those hidden gems.
And for the hidden gem, our first one in Major League Baseball, we're not going to look at the Dodgers-Brewers with Max Muncy. No, we're going to go to Sacramento, California with the Athletics and the Braves and the other Max Muncy. As the A's blew out Atlanta last night, the Braves have been terrible this season. But what do you have, Lee, with Max Muncy against Atlanta?
Tuesday, it's Wednesday, Hump Wednesday. People are semi-excited about that day. I'm going to give people, never done this before, we're giving out 5 total plays. So, my way of saying thank you for listening in. We're going to hand you 1 or 2 more plays than we normally do. So hopefully we can put even more profits in your pocket. And this is the first time I know for a fact in the 3.5 years we've done Locked On Bets that we've given out 2 hidden gems. My second hidden gem after yours is Max Muncy of the Athletics. Total bases is 1.5 plus 125. So a lot of listeners obviously know Max Muncy from the Dodgers. But I want to focus on the Athletics Max Muncy. Former 2021 first-round pick, finally made his debut this year at third base. Been hitting every spot in the lineup practically. He has 10 or more bats. Get this. This makes you a true utility player in 5 different spots in the lineup here. So he has never hit above 4th. I think it could be tonight. I'm doing a little projecting here. Not exactly sure, but this might be the first time he moves all the way up to 3rd in the order. The favorite for AL Rookie of the Year, Jacob Wilson, hit on the wrist in the game last night, and he left the game. They have Brent Rooker and a few others who can step in. I think that will take Wilson's spot as second in the lineup, but no one's been hotter in the lineup than Muncy, believe it or not. In fact, his season-long numbers have not been great. They don't stick out, but he ranks 21st among all qualified hitters in slugging percentage over the last 15 days at .581, 3 doubles and 3 homers on 13 hits since May 24th, raised his batting average 25 points during that time. The kicker here is he usually strikes out too much, but the Brave starter, Bryce Elder, should be helpful here. He should help him out. Elder's 19% K rate, ranks just 78th in Major League Baseball. So I think he's going to be able to keep that bat hot here. And we're going to go over the total of 1.5 bases here, plus 125 for Max Muncy. Hidden gem, number 2.
And also, we know there's been a lot of offense in that stadium in Sacramento since the A's have moved there. So we'll see. And even with Elder, yeah, that's a guy you don't really trust in the mound for the Braves. He has not been one of their better starters this year. So we'll see if Max Muncy can eclipse that prop. Now to the next baseball play.
What the fuck?
WTF.
So we were on the Nationals last night in the first 5 innings against the Cardinals. Didn't work out. Today, the Nationals will look to bounce back. Mackenzie Gore, their best pitcher, goes today. Nationals are a short dog against the Cardinals. And Lee, do you like Washington here to finally get off the hump and get a win?
Yeah, so I'm going to jump back on backing a team after they fire their manager, despite the fact that they lost last night. Mackenzie Gore, as you mentioned, is starting tonight. One of the best ERAs in Major League Baseball, 3.11. However, among qualified pitchers, he ranks just 30th in Major League Baseball with innings pitched at 104. That's less innings than guys like Paul Skeens, who is on a pitch count this season. The Nationals, as I mentioned, the worst bullpen, 5.76 ERA. He is just 7-11 when he starts. My biggest issue has been Dave Martinez, their manager of the Nationals. So he's one of these guys that was pulling Gore early and often, and you could see it in games. In fact, 2 of the games that he was pulled, they panned to him on the bench, and he was shaking his head in frustration. So I think that this reliever group, you want to take them out of it here. The Cardinals lineup also really struggles against lefties. I think this Nationals lineup can put up more of a fight with that 2.5-hour rain delay that they dealt with last night. Just think that I'm going to keep leaving this Nationals bullpen out of it here. And I think this pitcher Gore with the new manager maybe has a little bit more confidence and excitement, pep in his step. And I wouldn't be surprised if the new manager told him, hey, I'm going to leave you in, give you an extra inning or 2 if you're doing okay. So I'm not going to pull you as quick. That's what you want to do with pitchers, instill that confidence in them. So we're going to go with a wrong team favored Washington Nationals. First 5 innings money line, -115.
And also Andre Palante, who's starting for the Cardinals, he beat the Nationals earlier this season in D.C., but that was opposite Trevor Williams, who's been one of Washington's worst starters. Now you go from facing him or opposing him to now Washington's best starter. So we'll see how Palante responds. And also Palante off a good start his last time out at Pittsburgh in that series. They didn't score any runs, and see if he can do that again today against the Nationals. And we're going to go with the Nationals here. Wrong team favorite against the Cardinals. Still coming up, we have our NFL season win total preview. The Las Vegas Raiders, we'll look at them. We'll see if Pete Carroll can turn them around. Also, one more baseball play, and it's a blowout special. All of that is coming up. You're listening to Locked On Bets. And we continue here on Locked On Bets. Kevin Rogers and Lee Sterling of Paramount Sports with you as we now shift our attention to the NFL. A lot of changes made in Las Vegas, trying to get the Raiders over the hump. So they go to Pete Carroll. They go to Geno Smith. They had success in Seattle. We'll see if that translates now to Las Vegas.
Open it, open it, open it. Lee has the key to the lock of the day.
Las Vegas Raiders, they will be behind the Chiefs inside the AFC West. We know that, but can the Raiders make that move to maybe being a wild card team? This team has been in Las Vegas for several years trying to find the right head coach, trying to find the right quarterback, see if they could do it this time. And Lee, I guess the first thing I'll ask you before you get into your breakdown of the Raiders is how surprised were you that Pete Carroll would want to take this job? It felt like he was done in Seattle, just coast from here, but now one more opportunity for him in the NFL.
I was shocked, but from what I'm hearing, he's one of these guys that doesn't have a whole lot of hobbies. And I'm not saying he's the long-term solution 4 or 5 years from now, but might be able to give you a quick turnaround and give you 2 or 3 strong years. His energy level, sometimes you just can't judge a coach by how old they are. I mean, this guy has more energy. You see him running up and down the sidelines during his game. At practices, people watch practices, say he is fully engaged. So I expect this team with Pete Carroll, I mean, they're going to be so much better coach than last year. What happened was a couple years ago, they fired their coach and they have an interim coach and he does okay. So they feel compelled to sign him up. I think he had like a 3-year contract. Well, they realized he wasn't the guy. It's happened so many times. Players play hard and the immediate aftermath of a coach getting fired a lot. And the owners think, well, this might be their guy. Well, wasn't anything close. Now, the division, I believe, is clearly the toughest division. People like that division with Philadelphia and Washington, and even Dallas is okay, and just one bad team. But this clearly has 3 very strong teams. Kansas City, really strong, another Super Bowl, but lost the Super Bowl. They could be down a little bit. I think people, I'm not going to say have figured out Kansas City, but realize you rush 4 guys. You almost never blitz. Make them slowly matriculate down the field, and you can eventually get a sack and get stops on them and make them punt the ball. So that's one thing. The Chargers, every year, overrated. I think they're slightly overrated at a 9.5 win total. I think they're going to win 8 or 9. The Denver Broncos, maybe more hype with the Broncos than any other team in the offseason. They're sitting at 9.5. So you have the top 3 teams, 11.5, 9.5, 9.5. But I think all 3 are a little overrated. When you're playing a division schedule, the team's inside and out. I think that helps. Let's say they go 2-4, which, okay, let's say they go 2-4 versus those teams, or get lucky and go 3-3. I think they're going to go over the 6.5 win total. Why do I say that? Better quarterback play on top head coaches and coaching staff. Geno Smith, better than their cast of characters last year. They were shuffling in 2-3 different quarterbacks. They had no running game. They had no running attack. Ashton Genty, huge upgrade versus the cast of cast-offs that they have. I don't think any of them are still around. And even running back Raheem Mostert, a couple of years ago, he had, I believe, at one time the fastest, how they rate times, miles per hour. He was like 22, 23 miles per hour. So I think he's a nice change of pace. As a starter, he's not your guy. I think he's 32 years old, maybe even 33. But, you give him 5, 7, 8 carries, he might break one. Wide receivers upgraded with Jack Beck from TCU. I think he's going to be a huge upgrade. He was a great pick in the draft. A couple guys as number 3 receiver under the radar. Defense starts up front. Christian Wilkins was hurt last year. Seemed like almost 3/4 of the season. So healthy Christian Wilkins will help their pass rush, their run defense. He does both real well. There's very few players that do that. They paid him something like $25 million a year. Defense, 3 new defensive backs. They couldn't cover anyone. That should be an upgrade. I'm not saying that other teams in the division are bad. Maybe just a little overhyped. I love the change in the coach, quarterback, running back, offensive line, more depth there. Defense should be better with some new faces. I'm going to go with a level 1 lock. Las Vegas Raiders over 6.5 wins. They'll win 7 or 8 games here.
How surprised are you too, Lee, about just the emergence of Geno Smith when he first was with the Jets? Out of college, he's a good quarterback at West Virginia. He's from South Florida, and it didn't work out with the Jets. And to see how far he's come, doing what he did in Seattle, and now going down to the Raiders, seeing if he could turn them around. But as far as his emergence with the Seahawks.
Well, I mean, Pete Carroll, there you go. So Pete Carroll knows what he's all about. There's familiarity. I don't think they're going to, it's going to take them 3 or 4 games to get going. So that familiarity and Geno's one of these guys I think he needs to feel that the head coach is behind him. He never had a head coach behind him until Pete Carroll. So, you give him some weapons and a running attack like he used to have in Seattle. And he also went through some years where last couple of years the running backs were banged up some. So if Ashton Genty stays healthy and has maybe a rookie of the year type of year, I think he can have. Look out. They're gonna ground and pound you. It's gonna be the old Raiders way here with them running the football and also a defense with Max Crosby likes to hit you, when they like to go up to the whistle and sometimes a little beyond. Love when he gives you that nudge, the quarterback, even if he doesn't get you the nudge, and he's trash talking. He's definitely one of the greatest players in the NFL, and I love watching him, and I think he'll be even better with Christian Wilkins healthy this year.
Now let's take a look, Lee, at our second lock of the day.
Open it, open it, open it! Lee has the key to the lock of the day.
Final play of the day, back to the diamond. The Mets, they rallied past the Orioles last night. The Mets have caught fire after they had put up a bit of a dud in June. Took 2 of 3 from the Yankees, beat the Orioles last night, and their highest paid player, the league's highest paid player, Juan Soto, we'll see if he can keep it up tonight as he faces Baltimore, Lee.
Well, he got off to a slow start. There's no denying that. But he's starting to catch fire of late, and he loves hitting in Camden Yards. It's going to be hot and humid looking at the conditions, and the wind's going to be blowing out. So got to check that in the morning. And he's going to be facing a pitcher, Tomoyuki Sagano. Sagano has been getting beaten up recently. And this is a fact I learned, during the COVID lockdown, watching some Japanese baseball. Did not know this. This might even surprise you, Kevin. Not a lot gets by you, but Japanese pitchers in their league go in a 6-man rotation. Did you know that?
No, I didn't.
See,
I follow a lot of it, but I that one got past me, though.
Yeah. So you got to watch every day. So I was watching every day for about 2-3 weeks. I needed something to bet on here. So he's used to that. And he looks like he's running out of gas. So, all these factors that Soto's getting hot, the wind's blowing out, it's hot and humid. Got a pitcher that might be getting close to the wall here. Over 1.5 bases. I'm going to go with Juan Soto over that total here. We're going to go pretty far up. Level 2 lock and back Soto.
Yeah, and Juan Soto, again, like you said, Lee, that he had a slow start to the season, a lot of expectations going from, his 1 year with the Yankees, helping them with the World Series, signed the big deal with the Mets. it's a lot to take on. And his year with the Yankees, playing in Baltimore, seeing success there against the Orioles. We'll see if he can keep that up. So Juan Soto, lock of the day. We'll see if he can keep it up and go over 1.5 bases. So with all that being said, Lee, what do you have going on at Paramount Sports?
3-0 with player props in baseball. So, no, it's not football season yet. I love football the best, but make a lot of money in baseball, 162 games for each team. You want to try us out off that 3-0 and a 6-2 run here going on player props in baseball. 10 days, just $50. You're going to average probably about 3 player props per day. Looking for some action, hopefully build that bankroll heading into the football season. Also got UFC coming up. So 10 days, $50 for the player props. Going over the card tonight, we will have the card up tomorrow for UFC. They come back after taking the July 4th weekend off. So it's slowly starting to build some steam, sports over the summer. So before we know it, we're going to be in football season, and got that football special, $1,997 for my entire season of phone service from the first preseason game, July 31st, all the way through the Super Bowl mid-February. Just one place, Paramount Sports.
And you can find Lee on X at Paramount Sports. You can find myself on X at Rogers Picks. Also, don't forget to like and subscribe to our YouTube channel, Locked On Bets. And also, you can find the audio version on all of your favorite platforms, including Spotify, Apple, and we're all over the place, Lee. So it's really exciting right now building this up before football.
Yeah, I'm glad we're back and talking bets each and every day. And you never know. Like I said, don't just tune in during football season on Thursday or Friday when it's all football. Whether it's baseball or college basketball, NBA, UFC. We even do the PGA. We'll discuss that. Got one more major left. We're winning in every single sport in the long run. Not many people can say that, and that's documented. You can go to my website, ParamountSports.com. Recent results. Very few handicappers will put their results up there. They want to hide the losses. They don't want to tell you when they lose, but we're going to tell you when we win or lose, and no one in the country that I know of and that's documented has a winning record in every single sport in their lifetime. ParamountSports.com.
Tomorrow we'll be back with more bets for you. Another NFL team will preview as well. So we are looking forward to that. For Lee Sterling, I am Kevin Rogers. Thank you so much for tuning in to Locked On Bets right here on the Locked On Podcast Network.